Today, we've got 3 easy color acrylic designs that Greg is going to show you how to do for beginners. Super easy, awesome stuff right now on Nail School. All right, in this episode of Nail School, I'm going to show you guys how to use slick pour color powders to create 3 simple designs. The first design, I'm going to show you guys actually how to create a simple glitter fade. Now you'll notice on this finger right here that I've already built a free edge completely flush to the natural nail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the form. This is going to be the perfect tip for me to fade my glitter into the nail. Okay, the color that I'm going to use is Kitty Blitz. This slick pour color is packed with a lot of intense glitter. Okay, so since this brush again is a size 12, I'm just going to touch the surface to get a really intense amount. What I want to be able to do is I want to set it into the center of the nail, and then what I want to be able to do is lightly brush it through. And then again, the intensity is so bright that with the tip of my brush, I'm going to be able to work it all the way up into the body. Look at that. The coverage is incredible. So once I actually have full coverage on the nail, I'm going to wet the tip of my brush. And then what I want to be able to do is just right here where it joins the natural nail, I'm just going to poke at it. And what it's going to look like is shooting stars basically exploding into the body. So you'll notice, what you'll notice is that I have great coverage right here, and you can see that I have a very gentle, separation of the glitter running through the body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cap that with Speed Clear. After I've laid down the nice thin application of this glitter acrylic, I'm going to use Speed Clear to cap it, not only to encase the design, but to give it the right amount of structure. Now the nice thing about using the Signature Series brush is I'm going to be able to pick up the perfect large pearl. Once I set it to the cuticle area, I'm going to use the tip of my brush to touch it tight around the cuticle. We're going to allow the product to run down over the body. Once it gets over the stress area, then I could actually start to brush it through to cap the design complete. The next design, I'm going to take Star Vapor and I'm going to use this to build a thin free edge flush to the natural nail, and then I'm going to use Cover Pink to create a nice ombre fade. All right, the best part about this again is I'm going to be able to pick up the perfect size pearl, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this nice and tight to the free edge. So once you get it on, all you have to do again is use the body of the brush to kind of guide it out to the length that you want. And what I want to be able to do is lightly fade it into the body. I'm going to keep the body basically forming into a nice almond-shaped nail. You'll notice, you'll notice from the side profile that I'm actually trying to keep this as flat to the natural nail as I possibly can. Okay, so once this is formed, I'm going to use Cover Pink to create the perfect ombre fade. So what I want to be able to do is get a nice pearl. I'm going to set it at the cuticle area. We're going to allow the product to run down towards the line of demarcation where the glitter is, and right when it gets past, I'm going to lightly fade this into the body. You'll notice that a majority of the body is covering the glitter that runs through and into the body. This is going to give you the room to file so that you don't have shadowing. You'll notice from the side profile that this is much thinner than this area. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cap it with Speed Clear. Once the free edge is capped, we're going to allow this to dry. This is going to set me up for the perfect shaping. All right, in this next demo, I'm going to show you how to use Sports Fanatic, Lemon Zest, and Venus Rising to do some really easy color marbleizing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I built a really thin free edge flush to the nail. I'm going to take the form off. This is going to be the perfect platform for me to do my marbleizing effect. Right, so what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to use this brush to marbleize the color. The key is not to over marbleize. And what I mean by that is don't swirl so much because it's going to end up blending the colors and make it look muddy. You want to do one small section at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch the yellow really wet, Lemon Zest, Venus Rising, and Sports Fanatic, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this just to lightly touch the color, and you can see how well it marbleizes. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm going to set it here, a little bit of Venus Rising, and then again Sports Fanatic, and then while it's wet, what I want to be able to do is lightly use the brush just to touch it, to drag it into place. You can see how well it actually smears the color and creates this awesome looking background. Let's go ahead and take a little bit more. We want to be able to work real wet and in smaller pearls as we get to the back. And then that way what ends up happening is we do not, again, get too thick to the cuticle area, and it's going to set up for an absolute perfect background to encapsulate it with clear. The key is small, wet, thin. Yeah, I'm gonna get a small little dot. I'm gonna set it right here. Then I'm just going to use this just to touch it to the back. As you can see, I've got this really pretty background. Once the background is marbleized, I'm going to use my Signature Series brush to cap it with clear. It's going to do two things. It's going to encapsulate the design, and it's going to give it the structure for strength. I'm going to get myself a really nice even pearl. I'm going to set it to the cuticle area. I'm going to immediately start working it around the cuticle area nice and tight. As the product starts to run down towards the stress area, I'm going to brush it through. So what I've done is I've created a nice upper arch, and then what I'm doing is I'm using the body of my brush to pull it through to cover the rest of the nail. If I'm missing anything towards the front of the nail, I'm going to go ahead and get myself a really small bead. I'm going to set my brush backwards at the front. This is going to allow me to blend it nice and tight into the stress area. This will allow me to use the body of my brush to walk it over the tip, encapsulating the design with perfection. All right. Once the nail has been capped, I'm going to file finish it. You're going to see how awesome these nails look. With all the color options that Slick Pour offers, you're going to be able to use these simple techniques to crush it in the salon.